ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। So Hari Om, salutations to all. In the fourth mantra we saw the urgency to realize this self and how much more difficult it is to get this human body again. So the best opportunity is here in this human life, and so to realize here and now, Jivan Eva. Now somebody says that no, I want to stay here and I want to do rites, rituals, karma, etc. And I want to enjoy in heaven. And there I will get mukti, and then I will, that's how my evolution will be completed. So the next mantra says that how it is not possible, and also it is a sign of laziness. Not that somebody cannot realize in Devalok, but it is the facility here, the atmosphere here, all that is not possible in the higher worlds, except one, which is Brahmalok. And to get to Brahmalok, most difficult. So we had seen mantra 5. The basic meaning we had seen, so we go deeper into the meaning today. So the mantra says, Yatha adarshe tatha atmani, Yatha swapne tatha pitraloke, Yatha apsu pariva dadrishe, tatha gandharva loke, Chaya tapayoriva brahmaloke. So now he says, Yatha adarshe pratibimba bhutam atmanam pashyati लोकः अत्यंत विविक्तम तथा इह आत्मनि स्वबुद्धौ आदर्शवन् निर्मली भूतायां विविक्तम आत्मनो दर्शनम भवति इति अर्थः. So just like in the mirror, asamantat darshanat adarshaha, that which gives us a complete picture. When we see it, we see ourselves and certain things around us. When that mirror is very clean. So in that way he says, Pratibimba Bhutam, and the reflection is of ourselves. And if any change has to be done, then we do on ourselves, not on the reflection. So Atmanam Pashyati, Lokaha Atyanta Viviktam. And it's very clear. When will it be clear? When the mirror is, the reflection is very clear, when the mirror is absolutely clean and clear. In the same way, he says, Tatha iha atmani swabuddhau adarshavad nirmali bhutayam. That buddhi which has been purified. Buddhi here means both mind and intellect. That mind and intellect which has been purified, which is sharp, subtle, single-pointed, Sukshma Buddhi, Agra Buddhi, Shuddha Buddhi. So that which is being made like that, the Buddhi, Nirmali Bhutayam, Viviktam Atmano Darshanam Bhavati iti artha. There clearly one perceives that I am the pure consciousness, I am not this body, mind and intellect. Intuitively one knows. So that's the beauty of human life, the opportunity in human life, this buddhi we have that can be made sharp, subtle, single pointed and pure. And the reflection, how clear it would be. There is no haziness, there is no so of course, because the mirror is clear. If the mirror has dust, etc., then one can't see. That's a different aspect of the analogy. Here we are assuming the mirror is clean and clear. Then the reflection is absolutely crystal clear. There is no haziness, there is no blurring of the edges, or there is no impurity. One sees everything clearly. In that way, one can experience the self. See, the best aspect is that when we see the mirror, as I said, the correction we do on ourselves, we don't do on reflection, and we don't see the reflection as separate. We don't see the reflection as separate, yet there is separation. And all correction happens on this or not on that. Meaning to say that this person realizes the self, there is no separation, there is oneness that one experiences, that I am pure consciousness. In the sharp, subtle intellect, one experiences that I am that. Very clearly, the feeling of aham, aham, aham is experienced exclusively when all the other identities have been detached. So now this is what is possible in the Manushya Loka, in Bhuloka, in Manushya Yoni. Now he says the next one. Yatha swapne aviviktam jagrat vasana udbhutam tatha pitraloke aviviktam eva darshanam atmanah karma phala upabhoga asaktatvat. So Pitraloka, here the world of ancestors. Generally one is supposed to go there after death. From there one goes to whichever loka according to one's karma. So Pitraloka is the world of ancestors, where having crossed the Bhuvar Loka, one goes there. I mean, it's a part of Bhuvar Loka actually. Bhuloka, Bhuvar Loka. In that Bhuvar Loka will be one part which is Pitraloka. So generally every jiva goes there and then goes to any other, if at all they have a rebirth, they will go to Pitraloka and from there to any other world as per their karma. So Pitraloka, he says here, the example given here is Yatha Swapne. Like how the dream is. The dream is not very tangible. While one is in the dream, it appears very tangible and appears very real. But when one wakes up, one realizes here it is all memories. Some people don't even remember their dreams. Some people will remember. But even in the dream, logic is not there, sequence is not there. Sometimes there is a continuity, apparent continuity is there, but so many impressions are mixed up. Why? Because that's what it is. Jagrat Vasana Udbhutam. The impressions of the waking state, when we have collected and without the interference of the buddhi, now all those impressions are mixed up with each other. They are getting projected in the dream. So it may be illogical. There may not be continuity. How to realize Atma there? That is not possible. That type of a condition will be there in Pitraloka. Why it is said like that? Because one has not got a proper body yet. This body is gone, the next proper body has not yet come. It's just a temporary Preta Sharira or a Pitraloka Sharira, whichever is there. One is there in that. Where Purushartha, where turn within, realize none of that is possible. Most importantly, Jagrat Vasana Udbhutam. The example is that how the dream is a projection of the impressions collected in the waking state, and the mind is attached to many of these impressions, so experiences. So they make a deep impression on the mind. Suppose one loves ice cream and then one got to eat ice cream, and then that impression is there deep on the mind. So it's very interesting is the craving of the mind as well as some intense experience that one has gone through. Both of them have a lot of impact on the mind. And so a mixture of all these which have had lot of impact plus some less intensity, those things have all come up together and they are getting mixed and projected. In this Pitraloka also, the Jiva who has dropped this body, how much attachment the Jiva would have to this body, and the experiences collected through this body, and the attachment to people around, the objects around, and now one is ejected out of the body. And not very easy to forget all these things or to leave them behind saying that this is over. In this life itself, what has happened, to leave the memory of that is not so easy. How many times we live in the memory of the past, regret of the past, years together. Positive, negative, all kinds of experiences that we have gone through. To drop the psychological memory and the reactions associated with those experiences, not easy. The notions we have built up about people, about ourselves, is very loaded. The mind is so loaded. It's not easy to drop. One who has learned to drop like that, that person is actually living in the moment. Who doesn't get colored by the past, that person is living in the moment. Which is what Vedanta is trying to tell us. Come, bring the mind fully into the present. Live moment by moment, not dragging the past. Now, in human life, if that is so difficult, imagine this collection of one whole human life, all the memories and everything, because those are coming. Chitta is coming with us. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. 5 pranas, 5 senses of knowledge, 5 senses of action, ignorance, vasanas. 21 items I am carrying. How is it possible to just drop the memory so fast? And luckily, Bhagwan has made a certain process by which the memory does get reorganized after death before the next birth. But when that memory reorganization happens, how it happens, those things are very challenging. And more important is that the fact is that it depends on how this person has the ability to let go. So that mind will still be attached. Though it is in Pitraloka, it may still be attached to things and beings and, in this Bhuloka. That's why many times they say Pitru Dosha, or they will say that the ancestors are looking at you and all that. Meaning they also have an attachment. And sometimes the ancestors have gone many years back, but their level of time and our realm of time is again very different. So for us it may be many years, for them it may be just few days. And so now to put Purushartha in Pitraloka and all is not possible. That's why he says that it is so like a dream, how this whole memory is absolutely hazy, unclear, untangible, intangible. In that way, the mind is going to be like that. How to realize Atma there? And one has gone to experience the karma phala there. Because Pitraloka also means that, suppose one says, no, I have enough detachment, I went there because I did the rites, rituals, etc. and I went there. On the strength of my rites and rituals, I went there. So then one will be interested in enjoying those things where Atma Darshan will happen. Because the reason why one goes there is also that karma phala one has to experience, so one will go there. So anyway, karma phala asakti, when it is there on this earth also, what prevents us from turning within? One of the reasons is karma phala asakti. So karma phala upabhoga asaktatvat. Now that karma phala bhoga asakti is there in this world itself while I am living, that if I have done some action, I deserve to enjoy. If I don't get it, I fight for my right and all that, demand for certain comfort, certain privileges, all that is there in while living here itself. And somebody who has done karma to get results to enjoy in that Pitraloka will be more interested in enjoying in Pitraloka. Where will the person do Atma Chintan and Atma Darshan? So Manusha Yoni is the best option. Then he gave example of Pitraloka. Then he gives the example of Gandharva Loka. And you see that Gandharva Loka, what he says. And before that, in this commentary, Gurudev's commentary, see, in Gurudev's commentary he has given that just as our experiences of the waking state world are not the same as our experiences in our dream world, so too there can be other planes of consciousness wherein different degrees of experiences can be our lot. Thus we have the Pitraloka, the world of the mains, where the individual has only the mind, intellect, equipment and not a physical body. Naturally, the experiences gained by the subtle body must be different from our own experiences here, in as much as the body with its demands, cravings, pains and joys will color our experiences to give us on the whole a totally different life. So this is what it is. So that dream example, one aspect of dream example is what? That we are predominantly identified with the mind in that state, not with the body, not with the intellect, with the mind. And as I said earlier, that the next janma, where it is, what body, that is still not there. This body is gone. So one is that in between state. So the experiences are very hazy. There is a particular sharira that one will get, there is no doubt, but it is not like this human body or a proper body when as per the karma phala one gets. It's a mind intellect equipment in a subtler body than this, and that's why the experiences are not very clear. So if somebody says that I will go to Pitralok and then I will get, not possible. Either one wants to go there to enjoy the karma phala of this world, so many rites, rituals one does. According to that rites and rituals, one will go to Pitralok. And there are, in the Vedic times, if you see the Karmakandis and some other people, they desire to go to Pitralok. Ishavasya Upanishad, if you read it, in that it comes. They want to go there. Pitralok and Devalok, they want to go through certain rites, rituals, upasanas, etc. Why? In the quest for getting out of suffering, because this body has a lot of pain, suffering, this world has. So the understanding is in Pitraloka, these sufferings will not be there, and Devaloka is definitely more enjoyment oriented, and we don't have to work also, and we will get the sense enjoyments just by thought. There is no old age. We saw in this, no, in the Kathopanishad it came. Na jaraya bibheti. There is no old age there. There is no disease there. There is no death there. So why does one desire Pitraloka or Swargaloka? To get out of suffering and to get into more enjoyment. That's the basic motive. But it will be very hazy. From Atma Gyan standpoint, that is not the appropriate world for doing Purushartha or to realize the self. Now Gandharva Loka. So the next one says, Yatha cha apsu avibhakta avayavam atmarupam pariva dadrishe paridrishyate iva tatha Gandharva loke aviviktam eva darshanam atmanaha. So now just like one sees the reflection in water, see, however clean the water may be, if you see the quality of reflection of water and of the mirror is definitely much more sharp and clear. In the water, there will be some haziness. The boundaries will not be very sharp. Like a camera gets blurred, then how the image comes. It will be like that. Nowadays, easier to understand. Now, when the pixelated, when the resolution is very low, the photograph gets pixelated. Even the video which is shot, that will be very hazy. Or proper focus is not put there, so then blurred. There will not be that sharpness. And some glasses like I am having, they are also like that. They're progressive. So you have to look from certain level only you can look certain things. Then only it will be clear. So the near things you have to look from bottom, far things you have to look from the top. If you look at the far things from the bottom and near things from the top, it will be hazy. So maybe Shankaracharya ji can write in the next time commentary. It's like that. This Gandharva Loka is like that. So how this water is not very, the reflection in water is not very clear. In Gandharva Loka, why this example is given? Because mind is not at all available. Because why has one gone to Gandharva Loka? The reason why one goes to Gandharva Loka includes all this Devaloka is to experience enjoyment. And there also there are insecurities, there is fight for power. You know, we keep seeing, no, Indra, his asan keeps getting shaken up. When some Rishi meditates and Indra becomes insecure. And all that. So the craze for power and insecurity, all that is there. Plus there is sense enjoyment, craving for sense enjoyment. Enjoying also, craving also, both is there. So when the mind is so extroverted, so body oriented, then where is the question of doing any Purushartha? Rarely some of the Devatas or Indra, etc. have done also, and they realized. But those are exceptions. Like somebody may suddenly say, no, I know the story of the Upanishads, the Indra and Virochan story. Both of them went to Brahmaji. And Indra Bichara, he lived in Brahmacharya for 3 times for 32 years. And then he got realization. That is an exception. That is not the rule there. The rule is eat, drink, enjoy. That's it. And because the Sukshma Buddhi is dormant and Bhoga Sakti is so strong, the reflection will be like this in water. It won't be very clear. You know, one can look in the mirror and do the shaving. You can't look in the water and do the shaving. You can't see only clearly, properly. It is so hazy the reflection will be. So in that way, the example of Gandharva Loka is for that. Evam cha lokantareshu api Shastra Pramanyat Avagamyate. And he says that even in all the other lokas, because somebody may say, okay, you spoke about Pitralok and Devalok, Gandharvalok. What about other lokas? We look at that human mind, no? Human mind wants to postpone realization and say, okay, if not in these two, which other lokas, then we will try to go there and then from there we will realize. But here he doesn't want to put effort. One wants to eat, drink, enjoy here and do some karmas to go higher worlds and all that. So, chalo, while going, getting mukti, we will see other worlds also. That is the greed of this human being. And more important than greed is the pain only is not felt. The pain of finitude, of samsara, of this jiva bhav is not felt. So one thinks, one is very casual about it. Okay, what about the other lokas? So Shankaracharya in one line he says, Evam cha lokantareshu api. Even in all the other lokas. How do you know? A Shastra Pramanyatvat. The Shastra is saying very clearly, and if you want, you go and explore those things. The Puranas will explain which loka, what is the situation, what is the body, what type of enjoyment, what type of environment, all that they will explain. So go and read and find out if that is what is the interest. If somebody says, I am not interested only anything of this Brahmanda, Dehadi Brahma Paryante Anitya Bhoga Vastuni. From this body till the Brahma Lok, I have Vairagya from everything. No craving for sense pleasure here and hereafter. That is state of Vairagya. That mind comes to Jnana. No, but I still have some sense cravings. Then one has to reflect on the limitation of that senses and the cravings and the pleasure and how it binds and how painful it is. Only when that is over, then a person has that steadiness to pursue Brahma Vidya. So if somebody wants to know, then they can read all those things. Here in one line he says, Shastra Pramanyat Avagamyate. Except one loka. So when we say all the other lokas, he says all the other lokas except one, which is that is Brahma Loka. So Chaya Tapayoho Iva, like the light and darkness in that way. Atyanta Viviktam Brahma Loka Iva Ekasmin. In one loka, Brahma Loka Iva. Brahma Loke Iva. Like light and darkness are so crystal clear. In that way, in Brahma Loka, when one goes, one gets a particular type of body which is sadhana oriented, which is tapasya oriented. Where bhoga asakti is not there, then only one can reach Brahma Loka. And that's why he says, Dushprapa, such a Dushprapo, Atyanta Vishishta Karma Jnana Sadhyatmat. Because somebody says, oh, then I will go to Brahma Loka. He says, no, it's very difficult to reach there. Why? Because you have to do extremely specific karma, which is certain rites, rituals, etc. And jnana here means upasana. Jnana here doesn't mean Brahma Jnana. Jnana word here means upasana. So this karma and upasana, if we do specific type of karma and upasana and live in a certain type of mindset, then only one can go to Brahma Loka. See, that is one possibility. Other possibility is one is striving for Jivan Mukti, has cultivated so much Vairagya that one doesn't have any desire for anything in this world here. And even in that Sanchit Karma, whatever is ready to give result, even in that there are no such desires which require that Jiva to manifest. Meaning in that Sanchit which becomes Prarabdha, no such Vasanas are there which requires the Jiva to come back into the Bhuloka. Then what happens to that Jiva? Such a meritorious Jiva with so much of Vairagya, etc., will not come back to Bhulok, and the only way for exit after that is what? Then Brahmalok. There one goes to Brahmaji's loka and waits there. So it's very difficult. Either one has to be so desireless that one has no desire to come back here, or one has to have done such specific karmas and upasanas to go there. Both these are very difficult. What does this mean to say? That don't even think that, okay, then I will go to Brahmaloka. Meaning don't postpone. Just do what has to be done here and now. Finished. Tasmad Atma Darshanaya Iha Eva Yatna Kartavya iti Abhipraya. That's what Shankaracharya concludes, saying, now don't sit and analyze, okay, Gandharva Loka is better, or Brahma Loka is better, or Bhuloka is better. Which are my options available? The Pitru Loka also is there. And then in between lokas, what about them? Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, what about those lokas? The sum and substance of this whole mantra is, these two mantras what we saw, 4 and 5, is to say that human birth is most precious. Just use it to realize Brahman. Because this opportunity doesn't come again. Because when one will come back to earth, no idea. Which janma one will take, no idea. So much uncertainty. In which loka one will go to, whether one goes to Brahma Loka, doesn't go. How does one know what is the karma ready to give result? I imagine if some karma is there to go back into some plant life or stone or something, Bapre. How many more lives will go? How many more years will go in that? Again, one has to start. Whenever next human body comes, basic things will start. Purva Janma Samskar will help that person to, cope up very fast. That's a different thing. But again, that whole process one has to go through. When it is possible that in this human life, by realization, by putting that much effort, I can get the Samadhi Avastha and realize the self, whereby the entire Sanchit bundle only is burnt away. That is possible in this human life. And there, even in Brahmaloka, which is called Krama Mukti, in that Brahmaloka also, it is not that one goes to Brahmaloka and one gets immediately liberated. No, there one has to wait. Till Brahmaji gives the knowledge before Pralay, till that time one is waiting there. So if one has that much of patience, then one can go. But if one says, no, I want liberation here and now. Gurudev used to give that example of that hair. The hair has caught fire. Now, if the hair has caught fire, what is the urgency? With what urgency one will jump into the river or, take a bucket of water and pour on the head? At that time, one is not saying, okay, I have patience, I will wait. No. That's why it is important to nurture this mumukshutva. I must have shared this earlier. One seeker asked a saint that I am walking this path for many years right now. I have been living in ashram. I have given up so many of these worldly desires and enjoyments and all these. But still I am not realizing the truth. And that intensity is not coming. That saint replied, that is because you have not experienced enough pain. A very powerful answer that was. That is because you have not experienced enough pain. So either it is that one experiences a lot of pain and uses that pain in a discriminative way to get vairagya. Otherwise, a lot of people use pain, get frustrated, and then they get devastated and destroy themselves. Or in general, one has to reflect. Definitely, everyone has gone through some pain in their life, but we ignore that and then we move on with whatever other desires we have and fulfillment we are seeking and enjoyment, etc. That one wants to go behind. So one forgets that part because the craving for pleasure and sense enjoyment is such that it doesn't allow the intellect to think more about the painful aspect, which is why in the Gita Bhagavan says, again and again, Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya. This world is anitya, there is no sukha here. Bhajasvamam, he says, remember me. Or Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Go on seeing the dukkha and dosha, the pain and the limitations of birth, death, old age, disease, all these. One has to go on reflecting that what life is this, how temporary it is, and how we feel that, it is all solid, and nothing is solid here. It goes like this. So momentary and full of pain. That momentariness itself is pain. That how many people, we don't understand that only. The very fact that everything is changing is one of the reasons for pain. Is that sometimes we understand that right now COVID situation, many people understand that because suddenly everything has changed. The whole life only has become topsy-turvy, upside down it has become now. What one could have done freely earlier, now one is not able to do. One is even having fear of doing that. Can't go out, can't order from out, so many things. So that is one change. It's a major change, so why everybody is affected by it. But there are continuously changes happening. So human life has so many possibilities. One can achieve many things in the world. One can spend in enjoyment. One can spend in balancing. Some people like to balance also. Balance enjoyment, balance spiritual pursuit, balance ambition, all that. And there's nothing wrong in any of them. Each one according to their level of evolution, karma, one will do whatever. But for a mumukshu here, he says this is the only opportunity, don't waste this. So those were the two verses. Now somebody says, how to realize that? Now you are telling me importance of this human birth and that you should realize the self and all that. But how to realize now? This whole Upanishad said that only. How to realize? So many methods are given. No, but again one has to explain. Why? Because human being forgets. Guruji says a joke sometimes. He says that, why does a human being marry? Because of lack of experience. Why does a human being divorce? Because of lack of patience. And why does a human being remarry after divorce? This is because of lack of memory. One doesn't remember what all pain one went through earlier in the... Again one marries. So anyway, the point is that so many times the Shastra has to go on repeating the same thing. Here, do this, do this, do this. Then you will realize. In the Kathopanishad, how many times already it has been told. Person like Nachiketa would actually feel, why are you repeating so much? I already know this now. But it is not meant for him. It is meant for the Madhyam and the Adham Adhikari. Even after repetition, one still doesn't know what it is and how to realize. Because it is subtle. So the teacher with lot of compassion has to go on making it easier. So now you see that's the connection. Katham asau bodhavyaha kim va tad avabodhe prayojanam iti uchyate. How to know this self and what is the result of knowing this self. So the sixth mantra. Indriyanam prithak bhavam udayastamayau chayat prithak utpadyamananam matva dhiro na shochati. So Indriyanam prithak bhavam. This Atma is very different. What one has to do? The various states of the senses, as well as its rise and its fall. Udaya astamayav chayat. Knowing that Atma is different from all these, matva dhiro na shochati. The wise person does not grieve. Now, why this came suddenly? Because one was speaking about the body, about the senses earlier. That what is the Gandharva Loka experience and Pitru Loka, and where both places one wants to enjoy the results of one's karma. So here he says, even the senses actually as a human being we can use to realize the truth. If we trace the source of the senses, from where do the senses come? If the ultimate source, not the immediate source only. Immediate source, one will say, okay, the senses of knowledge are born from the sattvic aspect of 5 elements. Senses of action are born from sattvic aspect or rajasic aspect of 5 elements. From where did these five elements come? Oh, they came from Maya. From where Maya came? They came from Brahman. So if one traces back, ultimately one will come to Brahman. So that's what he says, that these senses, this is the path of using the senses to trace the source of the senses. Otherwise, we are using senses to go out. Now here is somebody, like suppose we are reading the scriptures. Now we are using our senses. Listening to katha, chanting name of Bhagwan. All those things we are using the senses, and through them we are connecting to that source. And so senses can be used for this aspect to understand that the states of the senses are different from the state of the Atma. It is because of the senses that there is a certain experience that we have. Like the waking state experience is completely different from the deep sleep experience. Why? Because senses are active in the waking state. In the deep sleep, senses are dormant. So when the senses are there, we experience the world. When senses are not there, we don't experience the world. But the feeling of aham, I am, is the same in both. That is the Atma. So Atma is completely different and independent of the senses and their experiences. So now that is what is said here. Indriyanam Shrotradinam Swa Vishaya Grahana Prayojanena Swa Karanebhya Akashadibhya Prithak Utpadyamananam Atyanta Vishuddhat Kevala Chinmatratma Swarupat Prithak Bhavam. So here he says, Shrotradinam Svavishaya Grahana Prayojanena. All these senses, the objective is to experience the sense objects. Swakaranebhya Prithak. They are different from their source. What is the source? Immediate source is Akashadibhya, the 5 elements. And these 5 elements, Prithak Utpadyamananam Atyanta Vishuddhat. The senses are also supposed to be very pure because they are born from the sattvic aspect of five elements. So five elements, so the senses are born from sattvic aspect of five elements. So the senses are pure, different, and they are born from the five elements, and the Atma is different from both. So उत्पद्यमानानाम अत्यंत विशुद्धात् केवलात् चिन्मात्रात्म स्वरूपात् पृथक् भावम् स्वभाव विलक्षणात्मकताम् तथा तेषाम् एव इंद्रियाणाम् उदयास्तमयौ च उत्पत्ति प्रलयौ. The nature of both these also are completely different. The nature of the senses and the nature of the Atma, completely different. Why? Because the senses, they rise and they fall. Meaning when we identify with them, we are in the waking state. And then when we withdraw away from them, we go to dream and then into deep sleep. So they rise and they fall. And as they rise and they fall, the states are experienced. Jagrat, Swapna. So Jagrat, Swapna, Avastha, Apekshaya, Na Atmana iti. And so these states also belong to these senses, not to the Atma. Na Atmana iti matva jnatva vivekato dhiraha dhiman na shochati. This viveka, now who will be able to do this viveka? The viveka required is for both aspects. One aspect is to understand that the source of these senses is the Atma, is Brahman, pure consciousness. That Brahman, from their five elements, from Brahman, Maya to five elements, from five elements this comes. This cannot be proved, especially that the whole from Maya five elements come and all, you cannot prove. No science can also prove it. So they have to take something as a fundamental base. This is like that. So it cannot be proved. Only a person who has discrimination can separate and understand that, okay, senses are different from the self. Because the self is Brahman, and from the Brahman, the Maya to five elements, and that five elements, sattvic aspect gives rise to senses. So this Viveki will understand this one part. The source is consciousness. And second is, because of these senses only, we are going through states. When we go beyond the senses, we don't go through the states. Like Samadhi Avastha, no senses, no world, no Jagrat, no Swapna, nothing. So this Jagrat and Swapna don't belong to the Atma, they belong to senses. Why? Because when senses are there, they are there. When senses are not there, they are not there. Hence, they are only a result of the senses and experience because of the senses. Atma is illuminating both the presence of Jagrat Swapna and the absence of Jagrat Swapna. Both Atma illumines. How do we know? A deep sleep state. Not aware of the dream, not aware of the waking, but I am. Samadhi Avastha, I am. So deep sleep and Samadhi, both are examples. Of course, in deep sleep one doesn't know consciously that I am in deep sleep, but in Samadhi one knows. That's the difference. So a Viveki Purusha will know both these, that the source is consciousness and that consciousness is completely different from the state of the senses and the waking and dream which the senses go through. And that consciousness is my nature. That is called a Dhira Purusha. Not that, okay, senses are born from some Brahman, so what now? No, that Brahman is only my true self, meaning I am the illuminer As Brahman, I am the illuminer. As Atman, I am the illuminer of waking, dream, deep sleep, and the states of the senses and whatever the senses go through. Today I am thinking ulta or not. The senses are completely controlling me because I think I am, the pleasure of the senses is my pleasure. Here it says, no, this is completely different. You are the source. They depend on you. You don't depend on them. You are there without their presence, but they are not there without you. But today we are experiencing reverse. If sense enjoyment is not there, very difficult. Why COVID has brought all these things straight up front. It has exposed human attachment also, and the limitations and how much dependency one has on sense enjoyments, on certain way of life. Oh, so many days happened, I have not gone out of the house. Oh, so many days happened, I have not eaten some outside food. All that, no, the attachment is there. So the sensory enjoyments are my enjoyment, is the condition at this moment. But a wise person says, no, indriyanam prathak bhavam. I am completely different from the senses and what they go through as the waking and dream. Matva jnatva vivekato dhiraha dhiman na shochati. Atmano nitya eka svabhavasya avyabhicharat shokakaranatva anupapattehe. The Atma is of the nature of changelessness, one infinite absolute consciousness which doesn't change. This waking, dream, going up, down, all that is happening to the senses, not to the Atma. And because Atma doesn't go through any modifications and it is one infinite consciousness, it doesn't have any sense of limitations, then Shoka Karanatva Anupapattehe, there is no cause for sorrow. In that Atma, there is no cause for sorrow. And then the Chandogya is quoted. Tathacha Shruti Antaram Tarati Shokam Atmavit. The knower of the self goes beyond sorrow. I may know anything else that will not remove my sorrow once and for all. Only the knowledge of the self can remove sorrow once and for all. Not a relief method, cure method. Cure completely. Tarati Shokam Atmavit. Iti. So now this is mantra number 6. That how to realize this self, detach from the senses. Know that I am different from the senses. I am different from the 3 states that the senses go through. 2 states, Jagrat and Swapna, that the senses go through. In fact, I am the Atma, the source, and that Atma is infinite and one. It doesn't have any cause for sorrow. Identifying with the senses, waking, dream, we go through sorrow. So detaching oneself from that by Vivek, the wise person should rise above. So for today we will stop here and our next class will be on Monday. Any questions or anything in today's session? You are welcome to ask. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.